Hi, Raghu sir. Good morning. Manoj here.
Yeah, a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to second day of EDP on entrepreneurship and product development. Okay, sir.
Should I take, sir?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Sir, we will wait for another 2 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Let all students will join, sir.
Sure.
Okay, sir. Yeah, good morning to all the participants. My hearty welcome to EDP session of day 2. So I request Manoj Kumar sir kindly take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Please allow me to share my screen.
Sir, Manoj sir, now check it, sir.
Yeah, it's working fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning and very warm welcome again to the second day of this session, Entrepreneurship and Product Development. Before continuing on the presentation, I just like to share some of the links that I discussed in yesterday's discussion. I will share it in the chat window. Please copy it for your reference. The first one is the Government of India Startup India program, where there is a lot of information available which will be helpful for you. There's also a link where you can find competitions. Sorry, ma'am. Okay. Sorry about that. So that's the first link. There is another website where there's a lot of information. There are regular events going on. That's the India Startup link. I'm sharing that too. You register this and you join the WhatsApp group. They regularly send a lot of updates. They're all for free. You join based on your understanding and requirement. And there's one more for this one. This particular one is not from India, but outside of India. But this is a meetup website where hardware related products are discussed quite a bit, and they are done at a very extensive research also. So I would suggest like you join this meetup group and try to attend the sessions they regularly host from time to time. It will help you understanding like what other countries are also doing in terms of their startup development and product development. Okay. For now, I have these three. I'll be sharing some more when I'm doing the ecosystem support available for startups. So that will help you further. So coming back to day 2, let's continue from where we left. So yesterday we were talking about problem, right? Problem identification before we start making a solution for it. So we discussed about problem solution fit, how to do a problem research, what are the avenues from where we can find out where the problems are, and what type of markets are available where we can find a solution for the customer. So that being said, let's understand today what market research we have to carry out. Now that we have understood where the problems are, we also need to understand how big is the problem. Is there a big of a size that we need to do something about it? That's what we talk about in the market size. What other competition is doing in terms of providing solutions to the customer? Is there any other competition which is providing similar solutions, or any other solution which matches what you are thinking? Also about the customer itself, like who's the customer is, what is his persona, what he's actually looking at, what his requirements are. All that are part of market research. I'll try to keep it in mind map sort of presentation only, because it helps you also to grasp it really fast. Before I go into the market research, just want to give one single slide. As we were discussing yesterday, the top reasons why the startups fail, there's no market need, right? We have identified that there's no market need, but still companies come up with solutions which are not required by the customer. So that's why most of the startups fail. To avoid that problem, yesterday we discussed about how to identify a problem first before coming up with a solution itself. So today we'll talk more further into how to find out what is the size of the problem, and how to find the problem itself, how to find the size of the problem, and what strategy should we apply to while doing the market research. I'll try to speak about that. Any questions you have, please type in the chat. We'll take in between. So coming to the market research, why we should need to do, we already discussed about it. If we don't understand the problem and we come up with a solution, there is a higher chances, we have seen the data, that we may fail. So it is important for us to understand what is the problem and how big is that. So there are different ways of doing a market research. Broadly, they are classified as secondary market research and primary market research. When we talk about primary market research, this is where you personally do interviews with the customer and try to identify his pain points, what issues he is facing, what problems he has. Without specifying any solution to him, you try to understand him first, what problems he is facing actually. You have to be very careful that you should not spell any solution upfront when you are interviewing the customer. It could be corporate, enterprise customer, or a general customer, but you have to be careful that you don't specify any solution which you don't have anyway. But you have to be open to listening to him, not you jump and specify the solutions to him. So in the primary market research, it's further divided into quantitative and qualitative. I mean, it's a standard way of differentiation, but basically what we are doing is, in quantitative research, you are doing one-on-one interviews, you're creating questionnaires and surveys to find out what are the pain points for him and how big is the problem. So that's part of the quantitative research. I specifically specify one-on-one by the entrepreneur himself. Don't give it to assign it to somebody else. It's not the right way of doing a research, market research, because what you understand is completely different from what you assign it to somebody else, or even an employee in your company. It's always recommended that you personally go and talk to the customer, understand what his pain points are, instead of assigning to somebody else. I'll share my personal experience. We have developed a machine for Tata Group, similar to JCB machine. We were on the highways where the operators of the machine are operating the JCB machine. Since we are developing a complete new brand new machine for Tata, we wanted to understand what are the pain points with the existing machine itself. It's not easy to take out information from them. I understand and even being engineers, we think like it's maybe like a shortcoming to go and talk to that low people. But believe me, they have much more information than engineers or even managers who are managing these products, because they use hands-on. So they have a better approach and better understanding of the product, and they will be in a better position to give you fair feedback to you. But you should be very humble, first thing, and very smart to take out the information from him. Sometimes you have to talk to him, spend some time with him, or take for lunch or something. These are all strategies, right? It depends upon case to case, but sometimes that works. So at the end of the day, you need the information. So you make sure in a fair way, not using some other bad ways, but using fair ways, you try to extract the information from him. That's where the one-on-one interviews work. If you try to phone that guy, he's busy with his own work, he will never respond to you, right? So it's a realistic case. So better you go in person, go into the field, try to extract the information and try to understand what you are trying to learn. Because an employee of your company may not understand what problem you are trying to gain the information about. So it's better you go in the field and get that information. Questionnaire surveys, I mean, these are like all online for like app-based solutions. But for a hardware kind of a product, you better go in the field and get that information. Questionnaires and surveys help to a certain extent. To questionnaires, particularly, you give specific questions that you are trying to get the answers from. Surveys are like basically trying to get a trend, how much is the difference and all that kind of studies. Questionnaires are very specific. There's a big difference, questionnaires and surveys. Questionnaires are specific, surveys are broad in nature. Okay, coming to the qualitative research, this is observation, again, interviews, focus groups. You create groups and see how they are responding to different questions you are posing to them. Interviews, again, are broad in nature, observations that you see with your own eyes and see how customers are responding to certain situations. That is all part of qualitative research. Coming to secondary market research, we briefly talked about this yesterday, but the reports that are published by different organizations, specifically government ministries, industry bodies, consultancy reports like EY and Ernst & Young or Deloitte or Big Fours, all those are part of secondary market research. You study those reports, you try to understand how the customer behaviors are going. They publish like what is a trend that may happen in a particular technology and what. One more thing, competitor benchmarking. Anybody has any idea what this means? You can chat in the window. It's a question. Standards, okay. Standards with a question mark, okay. Anybody else has any idea what competitor benchmarks means? Okay, never mind. I'll brand value, okay. Trust, right? That's one quality, okay. Something already which they accomplished, okay. Any other thoughts? Okay, see, when we talk about competitor benchmarks, what you have shared is fine. To some extent, they're right. But when we talk about competitor benchmarking, what you do is, let's suppose you are developing a drone, okay, with some other technology, advanced technology, which is not there in the market. Is that what you are trying to develop, right? First, you have to go in the market and see what is already existing and what kind of technology they are using, how they are developing it, and who are the customers for it. What are the sizes of it? What the size? What are the specifications of that particular drone in technical terms? And also from business perspective, what is the customer base for that particular model? Those things are called competitor benchmarking. So you learn from the existing competitors. You study in detail how it has been built, what material they are using, what technology they are using, what is the customer base for it. Each and everything, even a screw that is used in their product is studied in detail to understand how they have done it. The reason why we do it, First, to understand at what level the technology is, so that you can be better than that. One. Second, you try to understand where they are procuring their parts to make that particular model, because if they are procuring from somebody and you go to the same supplier, there is a possibility he may give you the same thing to you, and you end up with the same product as what the competition is giving, right? Third, if you have to negotiate on the price with the supplier, you need to understand how much the competition is making it for. Without having competitive benchmarking data, you may not be in a position to find out what is the price of those particular material they have used. One other thing, also to understand what kind of technology they have used to make the product. If you know that, then you can come up with a superior technology to that, and that will help the customer make a decision to buy or not. So these are some of the reasons. It's not the only thing. I'll be covering some more in the technical part, in the product development part. But competitive benchmarking gives you a lot of information about your competition. So that's what part of the secondary market research. This think tank consultancies, newspaper, this give a very broad overview of like how the market is going, what is the projected increase or decrease of a particular technology. So with that in mind, we are looking at what is the outcome. I have done this research. I have done this all ways of studying the data. What is the outcome I'm expecting from this market research? What I should expect actually. First thing is the market size. How big is this market? Is there a market that I should go and tackle it or not? If I don't understand that, then I'm wasting my time a lot actually. Because if the market size is very small and there's not much money or benefit involved in it, then there's no point in going there. First thing is that. Second is, how is the trend of this market? Is it increasing or is it going negative? If the market is going negative, there's high possibility you lose your money, all the effort that you have put in it, right? Most likely, I'm saying it's not always. Some cases it may come back again, right? You never know. Like Bitcoin was going pretty high, then it suddenly dropped, and it may come back again someday. So we never know, right? Things like that can happen. Third is industry outlook. How the industry as in general is looking like. Is it moving forward higher or is it going lower? So the market research will also give that kind of an output. We talked about competition benchmarking. We also need to understand competitor research. Also. Sorry.
Chat.
Somebody is on, please put on yourself on mute. I don't see who's that. Vishnu. There's no mute option here. Okay, never mind. So coming back to the market research, so competition research, as I said, how much the competition has a share in the overall market. If you do your research really well, you will get an idea about who are the competitors first thing and how big is their percentage in the overall market. Knowing the competition is important, right? It makes a big difference for you. Buyer persona. Who are the kind of customers and what is the kind of thought process they have is very important. That helps first thing in identifying the customer itself. Second is approaching them, right? When you're doing a marketing strategy, you get a clear idea like how to approach them. Which kind of strategy should I use to approach them? For example, like if you are making a product for a farmer and somebody is making a product for, let's say, a school student, there are two different personas, right? Persona is nothing but their thought process, everything else that goes along with it, right? What he thinks, what his lifestyle is, what he buys, what he not, what he prefers. All those are part of the persona. So if you understand that clearly, there is a higher chances that you may tackle him or approach him really well, and you can market your product really well. So that's where this outcome of buyer persona makes a big difference. Market segments, target segments, competitor market share, I will talk about in competitor research, product pricing, product marketing. So if you have done the research well, it also helps you in finding out what price should you offer your product at, right? When you come up with your product, what should be my price range? Right now, when you're at the initial stage, you have no idea what price should I give to the customer. But if you've done your research, you understand what the competition is doing, how much they are doing the prices. There's a high chances that you get an idea about what price you should offer it. Should bet lower than what competition is doing, or higher, or a better service than what the competition is doing. You will also understand how to market your product once you have come up with a solution, right? Once you are doing the research, you also get to know how the competition is doing the marketing. Studying the persona, you also get an idea like what your customer is expecting, how they expect you to approach them to sell their product. So that's what will be an outcome of product marketing if you have done the research really well upfront. So these are all your groundwork before even you getting into the problem stage or solution stage. I'm sorry. So it makes sense, right? You have got so much of information now, even before you get into the actual solution phase. You feel much confident. You feel going into the next stage that I have enough information. Of course, there are things might change because markets are dynamic. You always should keep an eye in the market and see how things are progressing and or not progressing. Based on that, you change your strategies. Always keep your eyes and ears open, right? So that's very essential for you. Always keep your eyes and ears open here and understand how changes are happening and how it will impact your strategies. It's not like you have done once and you forget the market. It's not like that. You have to keep updating it based on how the markets are changing every day. Sometimes every day, sometimes once a month or 6 months, depends on your product and technology, how it is changing. Talking about the strategies, some of them I mentioned earlier. Don't delegate problem research. I'm repeating this again. Don't delegate problem research to anybody else. You yourself should be taking care of this. There is a big reason because what you are thinking may not transform exactly same into the employees or somebody else's mind. So you better go in the field, understand the problem, understand the customer. Always be attentive to him. Be humble to him, understand his problems before you specify any solution to him. The second one, go prepared in front of the customer. Biggest issue I've seen in some of the startup companies. They just directly go there taking a paper and pencil, and sometimes not even that. They don't even take a piece of paper or a pen when they're talking to a customer. Big no. When you're talking to him, you should show him that you have big interest to talk to him. You need his information. You're dying for it, right? That should be your approach. And write down each and everything what he is talking in detail. Because there is a high possibility, that's how our brains work, right? We may not capture everything. You may say that you will record it, fine, that is also fine. But at least write some notes in front of him so he has faith in you that you are serious about this problem. Third one, be clear about our objectives. When you are doing a research, you should be clear about like what outcome you are expecting from this research. Do your homework upfront before even going to the customer. Don't go there and think, oh, I will figure out that. It doesn't work. Seriously, it doesn't work. You have to do your upfront groundwork to understand what questions you are expecting the customer to answer for you. Target audience. Be clear about whom you are going to talk. You are making a drone for a farmer. If you go and talk to auto driver, has no meaning, right? Be clear about who is your audience. Make sure you do your groundwork and understand who will give up better information for you, which is relevant to your market research. Not like just go blindly into the market and figure it out. No, that doesn't work. We have seen many cases where people have burned their hands, wasted a lot of money and time, came back with zero output. So please don't repeat that. Is the screen not visible?
Yes, sir.
It's visible, right? Okay. Courteous about criticism. See, let's suppose you're talking to a customer, he said like, this solution, there's a problem, you have nothing, he's talking very harsh with you. Take it with very courteous way. Don't go against him or try to fight with them, right? That's not intention. You had a very different level of understanding with them. So try to extract information in a nice way. We had this situation in one of the cases where one of the operator of the machine was criticizing like all bad words only. I mean, I can't use those words here in the meeting, but He was very critical about the product. He didn't like at all. So he was giving all crap stuff only about the product. But at the end of the day, it's up to you how you extract that information and make him talk to your language and get the information out. And we did do that. It is possible. Yes, you need to stay there, listen to him very courteously, understand his pain points, and first agree with him. Never go against him. That will never work. If you go against him when he's in negative phase, you know what happens, right? It's how human behavior is. So first understand him, where he's coming from, listen to him with no against him, and then get the information what you need at the end. It happens. It does happen, and you will finally get the information anyway. Keep the questions open-ended. What it means is like you don't give answers to the customer. You keep it open to him. Let him come with a lot of questions and answers also. Reward respondents. This may be applicable sometimes, may not be. Depends on how you are dealing and what kind of customer you are dealing with. If somebody is giving you information, be courteous and also give maybe like in monetary terms or something else or benefit to him. So he shares that information to you. If this works, I myself have done that, paying like 100, 200 rupees for machine operators or 500 rupees. After he gives the information, he feels happy. Next time we go to him, he's more than willing to share the information with you, right? These are all strategies, right? Nobody teaches you in your books or online. You have to learn. This is an art or what? I don't think it's an art, but you learn as part of your work, right? So it works. I mean, the point here is those kind of things do work. So not always, but you have to be careful how you deal with this. Before I go on the next topic, let's take some questions and any points. Something already we accomplished. Yes, target customers. I don't know what this point was about. Journey, right? Can you repeat this, Vasumat, what you are talking about? Can I get the flow chart? Yes, I'll put that in the presentation. You can. See when I'm explaining this concept, right? If you start taking the notes and put those down, you will learn more actually, I think. I'll share the flow charts. There's no problem with that. But while you are doing it, I expect you make the charts and send it to me as a homework and see, and I will give feedback to you. There's no problem with that. Thank you. That's a good point. We will learn this as part of our journey. Yes. Okay. Yes, you will learn the target customers who are the people. This is nice. Okay. Any other questions or comments? If we are very much far away from the competitor accomplishment and come to know during competitor benchmark process, if we are very much far away from the competitor accomplishment and come to know during what way to follow the same pattern. Yes, that's where you have to be careful, right? So you're just learning from it, what he's doing, but you're not replicating it. You're not copying it, right? If you're not aware of what he's doing, then you're completely lost anyway. Because you may come up with the exact same solution which customer doesn't want. Then what, right? Then you're in a complete soup. You have to be careful in your strategy. You understand from him what he's doing and just leave it there itself. You learn from it, leave it there. You do your own work. That's how you have to understand this competition benchmarking. Yeah. Any other questions? It does happen. Actually, I'll tell you one example. I was working for Caterpillar in US. We were developing a machine. During that time, we developed that machine. It's in the field for testing. China got hold of this. This is at national level, right? Things are going really bad. They copied exactly same machine, and the machine made by Caterpillar was about $12 million or something. Each machine cost about 12 million. China came up with the same product, exactly looks exactly same, no difference, for $50,000 only. Imagine, that's exactly same replication, right? It's a complete different problem also, but if you're doing competition research and you copy the same exact thing, things like this can happen also. So you have to be careful how you work with it. If competitive pricing comes at the cost of quality, is it worth it, sir? This is example exactly what I'm talking about now, right? CAT did at 12 million, China did at 50,000. There's no quality, right? What they said is when people are buying that machine doesn't work more than 1 year to 2 years. So CAT machine works for years together. There's no quality in China product. Then how to come about pricing? The customers were told like you break that machine, you buy a new one because it's sold at cheap. Instead of repairing it, you just throw it away, take a new machine. So it depends upon your customer, what is strategy the company you are following depends on you. What you define your quality and how you define the strategy for your company, how you want to become a brand in the world or not. If you want to be local cheap, then you don't care about quality. Pricing will anyway will be less, but your name brand will not be there. So it's a compromise that you will make. It's not worth it. If quality is getting degraded at the cost of price, then it depends again on if the customer is buying it, then right. Like planned obsolescence. Can you specify what you mean by that? I didn't understand. Sorry. Can you just expand a little bit more? What do you mean by planned obsolescence? Head on the mic, sir. I think 20344.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Is it audible?
yeah, you're audible.
Sir, if they make, like usually planned obsolescence is kind of common in the modern days. For example, people are making phones. For example, Apple is releasing an iPhone like every alternate year.
Right.
And at the software point of view, they're degrading the previous iPhones.
Right.
The point is they release like new product frequently and try to degrade the older product.
Right. That's understood. But what are you trying to get to? See, that's their strategy, and the customers are okay with that, right? Customers still buying it. Nobody is against that. I mean, there are cases where people are complaining it, but still the sales are there, right?
But they're purposely making the degrading the quality of the present product just to get more profit.
Right. Is it a question or is it a comment that you're putting here? I'm trying to understand that.
It's not a comment, sir. It's actually a fact, I guess.
Right. It's a fact, but what are you trying to get out of this? That's what I'm trying to understand.
You're telling about the Chinese. You're
just mentioning that, I guess.
Right.
When you're giving the example of the CAT machine that China made, you're told it doesn't work for more than a year, right, sir?
Right.
And people who are buying it also know that, but still they buy it.
That's right. So it's all, again, it depends on your strategy, right? What company strategy you're following. Your point is right. The fact.
Despite giving the low quality, high quantity products that China is putting out, they're still making profit out of it.
Yes. Of course, there are some other things involved in it, which we may not be discussing here, but it is happening, right? Customers are okay and buying it. We also buy it. India buys so much stuff from them too, even though we know it's not quality, right? And it comes down to price.
So at the end of the day, for a company, the only thing that matters is profit, right, sir? So even if we go this route, it might not be ethically correct, but at the end of the day, we'll be making profit, right, sir?
It may not work all the time, right? Sometimes the customer is very informed, then it may not work. The first point is right. Companies are working for money because they have to sustain and come up with new products. So money makes a difference, but not at the expense of compromises, right? So we have to be careful. See, being an ethical developer is more important than because Tata has got more brand value than lower companies, right? Because they
yes, sir.
Because there's a big difference, right? Why you don't give a second guess of buying their products, whereas you think at least once before buying somebody else's who's compromising on quality. So it all comes down to your brand value finally, right? And of course, money is there, of course. Somebody else was sharing something. Okay, that completes market research. Before I go into the next topic, an assignment was assigned to you guys. I know it's more sounding like a college thing, but did anybody get a chance to do a problem research and come back? Can we do just a small discussion on that if somebody is volunteering to share their thoughts? Has anybody done that work first thing?
Sir, I got the mail today for this invitation. I don't know what happened. I got it at 10:50. I didn't get the mail before for the invitation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got the mail late and I joined as soon as I got the mail.
Okay,
So,
I think you coordinate with Raghu sir.
okay, sir, I'll
Because
talk to
I'm
him.
not organizing it. I'm hosting.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Did anybody get that assignment first thing? I believe, I don't know. Yes, no. Can you please put your chat in the chat window? No. Okay, probably there was some communication issue, but I requested the student Raghu sir to forward to you guys. But the thing is, I wanted some of you at least to come back with a problem research. You think at this point of time what could be a problem in the market, right? If you can do it today, we can discuss it tomorrow. No worries, we missed it, but that's okay. We'll do it tomorrow. Please. Do that. One more thing I'll assign it to you. Please don't forget. I'll be sharing now about business plan canvas. Take some example, any random example that is there currently in the market, and try to build a business plan based on the explanation I'm going to give you. Or if you already have an idea, please do that and share it with me. We'll discuss tomorrow. Any of your examples will take it and discuss it. If there are no other questions on market research, I'll go further into business plan. Okay. Since no chat, no update, I'll move forward. So coming back to our overall, the big mind map. So we are here right now. Chat. Can we get details of some other organization data? I think that's what we discussed. Inside information. What kind of inside information you're talking about? That we have to be specific about. Confidential. How do you define confidence? Let me put that. No matter how good our idea is, but what if we don't get funds? Let me answer this confidential data question first, then come back to this. Can we get details of some other confidential information, right? That is the question. Can you specify when you say confidential, what that means? What you are actually looking at? Is it financial or is it technical information you are looking at, or something else? Sanjay Bhargav asked this question. So if you are talking about confidential information in terms of technical, it's hard. Forget, it's not going to come that easy unless you have connections inside, which I never recommend. Not technical, okay, that's good. Financial or business perspective, user data. Oh man, that's user data. You have to do a research. Directly, you will not get information. The way we have done in the past, you try to understand who's buying the products of that particular company. You try to track that. That's pretty much, and then to go to those users and try to understand what issues they are facing with the product they bought from the competition. That's one way of getting this information. But directly from the company, it's very hard. Actually, it's next to impossible only, I believe. It doesn't work like that. So no matter how good our idea is, but what if we don't get funds? It happens. See, what you're thinking is good is not good to somebody else, right? how you define good. Good is very relative, right? So what you think is a good idea may not be good for somebody else. So the universal way of looking at it, if your idea is good, you have done your customer research really well, you have a good business plan. Let's be quantitative, right? We're engineers. We have to put in terms of facts and data. It should be numbers only, right? Then only people are talking about good or bad. If an idea is good or solution is good or not. See, it's again, I'm repeating this. Ideas are lying on the roads for free. It's the implementation that matters. That's what drives fundings, mostly, at least in India. Mostly, I'm saying again, ideas are, everybody has ideas. Everybody, believe me, everybody has ideas. So in quantitative terms, you get your market research done really well. You develop a technology which will solve the problem at giving a better benefit to the customer. Those things will help you get funds, but not just thinking the idea is good. It doesn't work. I mean, I observed this. Okay. You observed people getting information. You have to be careful with that information also. I suggest you, because what you think is a good information may not work out that way. It could be a misguide for you. So be careful how you take information. Okay, I'll move on. Market research we have done. IPR will be covering further. I'm getting on the business side first so that we are in the flow. So let's complete that part before I get into the technical side of it. So business model is the next thing. While you are doing the customer research, you are at a position where you have gathered enough information. You start to build your business models. Keep this in your mind. Business model is not one-time document. It is a living document. You keep updating as you learn. Startup is a everyday changing company, right? It changes every day because you're learning every day. It's a learning that you get every day about customer, about product, about marketing, about team. Everything changes as you move forward because you don't know everything on the day one. You're learning, you're improving yourself. Same thing happens with the business model also, because at the end of the day, business models are nothing but these are the core area where using which you're trying to make the profit for your company, right? So all of these things are listed here, keep changing as you learn about your product or the solution you're providing to the customer. So that's why this is a living document. You start with the one file, you keep on updating, you make copies of the same file, you update what you have learned today, you update again next day or maybe week after. Maybe you don't do every day in, day out, but at least at a certain period of time, you keep updating your business model canvas. So before getting into the details of what this business model means, let's understand what is a business model first, right? Why we need a business model and how to capture the business model ideas into a meaningful way. So again, coming back to the reasons for failure, market need we already understood. Pricing we don't understand. Sometimes some startups don't get that. There's no business model clearly defined. There's no clear marketing. We ignore customers. Product missed timing is wrong. We got outcompeted. We didn't understand the competition really well. So this could be some other issues. So keeping that in mind, and what happens is like when entrepreneurs are working on the product, they're more focused towards the product and service instead of along with this product and service, they also should be thinking about the business side of it, which they most of the cases miss it. That is one issue. Second is there's no single model. Previously, people used to use single model of business model for every kind of business, right? But that doesn't work because there's so much of dynamics involved nowadays in the customer and also the products that we are developing. Same model will not work. Like example, previously everything was bought and sold in a shop or something, right? Now we got online options. We can order directly from the companies, like we were talking about the market types. So those things are changing. There's so many dynamics that are happening in the market and the customer behavior also. So having a single model of business will not work. So we have to be careful about what model you are selecting, which suits your requirement or your business requirement. To do that, first need to understand what are the elements that needs to be part of that business model. That's what we'll discuss. Every business has its unique approach. You need to understand that, understand yourself, like which model will suit me and will work for me. So just the business model itself, what it means. This is a plan which helps you make a profit for the company. In simple terms, that is the thing. It's a plan which helps you make a profit for the company. I think I should have not shown this slide first, but supposed to ask you questions like, what do you think are the important parts of a business, right? Customer is first thing, of course. Customer is king, we say always. Product or service that you're offering, or the value proposition that you're giving to the customer. The infrastructure, whatever it takes to provide that product or service to the customer. That's part of infrastructure. It includes everything like a building or software or anything that is required to make the product or service reach the customer. That's part of infrastructure. Finally, the financial viability. How you are making profit, what kind of cost you need to pay, what price you have to put, all the good stuff, right? On the financial terms are part of this last chunk of the data. So the essential elements, all we talked about, are further divided into something called a canvas. Canvas is nothing but it's a template basically. You write in a format so that it's easy for you to talk to anybody. It's a common communication between all the team members that may be there in your company or also outside the company. It helps you visualize, design, and reinvent your business model. As I said, like you keep updating your business model as you learn about it. So it's a one single tool or template that helps you do that. It's a common language for everybody to talk about in terms of business, right? As I said, like it gets updated. It was developed by Alexander Osterwalder. I mean, many of you might have heard about this. What it includes, what is it, why is it required? So many examples, what strategies to use. We'll discuss some of these things. I'll show you some examples also. We'll try to build also in one of these. So the main elements of the business model canvas: customer segments, value proposition, channels, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partnerships, and cost structure. This pretty much encompasses everything, the elements we talked about as part of a business, right? But there's a particular format that it is written in. What I'm sharing on the screen are those 9 elements or 9 elements of this business model canvas. Some follow a particular sequence, some just randomly place it. Either way, it is fine as long as you're capturing all the elements of the business model. The numbers that you're seeing in an oval in each of these boxes are nothing but the sequence in which usually, at least I follow, and some other people also follow, when you are developing a business model canvas. Okay, but there is the titles that are given, those are common, those don't change. It's just a structure where they are placed, can sometimes change, most of the cases they don't. But in what format you fill each of these depends on you, your preference, or the information you have at that point of time. It could be you, or it could be the information. I'm repeating the statement. Depending on the information you have, you can update each one of them. But you scan through each of these elements and see if there is any update from time to time. That you have to do. There are a list of questions here. What each of these elements mean. I'll try to explain them a little bit. Before we go into these questions, let's take an example and try to understand this, right? I think that would be a better way of learning it instead of going through all these questions. Very boring, I think. As I said, your business model keep on changing depending upon what you're learning in a particular event. That's why you're trying to find the right model which might work for you, which will you think finally will work. You start with something, you keep on developing it, finally you will find the right model. I'm taking an example of Swiggy. We all are aware of it, right? It's a food delivery app Swiggy has developed where you can order your food staying at home, right? I'm starting with the sequence that I have mentioned in that canvas, 1, 2, 3 numbers: customer segment, value proposition, channels, and next follows. So how Swiggy works and what is its business model? Customer segment is where you are thinking about whom you are trying to provide your solution, right? So people who love to eat food from their favorite restaurant but want to get it delivered at home. These are the people you are trying to cater the needs. Who get emergency items delivered at the doorstep like groceries, stationery, etc. I don't know if Swiggy is doing that, but so basically you are trying to get the customers who are interested to work, and that's what you're trying to capture in customer segment. That element of the business model canvas, capturing the customer part of it, is the customer segments. What value you are providing to the customer, that is value proposition. When I say value proposition, what is unique about your product that you are giving to the customer? That's value proposition. Which is giving benefit to the customer is also value proposition. So for example, in Swiggy, it's giving you food in less than 1 hour or less, right? Quick access, they have an easy app, you can sit at home and order your food and you get it delivered to your home. So that's the value they are giving. It was previously probably not there. Some restaurants were giving it, but now they have promised that they'll deliver in less time in quality food. Of course, issues come up. Sometimes we get delays, we don't get food delivered. Those are outliers. We don't think too much about that because any company has issues like that and you try to handle it. But at an overall level, you try to see what value you are giving to the customer. That's part of value proposition. Now, how are you reaching the customer? Those are called channels. How customers are able to know about your stuff. That's part of the channels. Either they go to your store and buy your stuff, they order it online, or they use some other methods of reaching you and buying your stuff. That's part of the channels that are used. So in this case, Swiggy, your mobile application, or you can order from the website, their website. So those are the channels they give an option. Moving on, how you build your relationships with the customer. That is important, right? Like how they will reach you and how you will reach them to understand their feedback and also make them aware of different products that you are offering to the customer. Those are part of customer relationship. For example, like Swiggy sends out emails and they do social media marketings, deals and discounts. So they keep engaging with the customer using these options, right? So that's part of the customer relationship building. You put all those options that you're using to reach your customer and showcase your solutions. It becomes part of customer relationships. While you're doing this, how you're generating the money for your company, right? That's part of revenue streams. Remember, like sometimes companies generate only one way of getting income, but there are multiple ways you can generate your income also. Those are part of streams of income, which the company is getting as developed to get these revenues. In Swiggy's case, they do advertising, commissions, delivery charges, affiliate incomes. All these are revenues they are using to make revenue for themselves, right? So in your case, any company that you have developed, how the company is making money, there could be different channels the money is coming into your company. Those are part of the revenue streams. To deliver these things to the customer, you need help from a lot of people, right? Either your employees or external agencies or anything. What resources you are using, or it could be just a computer that you're using at your office, right? So all these things can be part of the resources that we are using to deliver the value proposition to the customer. Those gets part of the key resources. Like Swiggy's case, food delivery boys, they go and deliver the product to the customer. So that's a key resource for them, first thing. And they make connections with the restaurants and stores. That's one resource. Like restaurants and stores are their key resources. Maintaining the app, which is easy to use, user-friendly, that's one their resource. Database of customers, database itself is a resource for them. And to maintain that database, they need hardware support and all. So that's a resource. For your case, that could be, let's suppose you're making a drone. You being an aeronautical engineer, so I'm just taking that as an example, but can quote something else also. But for your case, when you're developing a drone, your key resource could be the external suppliers who are providing the structure for the drone, right? They are manufacturing it for you. That's your key resource, one of the key resources. Somebody could be doing a PCB board or developing it for you. That's a resource for you. Something like that. Now, while you are delivering the solution or value proposition to the customer, you have to in the back end do a lot of things to make that happen, right? That is part of the key activities you have to carry out day in, day out to keep the business going every day, right? So for example, Swiggy, they have to maintain their app so that the customers don't face any issue. But in the back end, they have to keep maintaining that app so that the issues don't pop up. We also do seasonal promotions and advertisements, so people are aware of new offers or aware of the Swiggy first thing and aware of the offers that are available now. And activities for diversifying also, what activities you have to carry out so that you can diversify or increase your customer base. So all those activities are part of key activities that you take care. Partners are again like restaurant partners, delivery partners. These key resource and key partners are pretty much sound the same, but there is a little differentiation how you work with them. Partners are you work with them day in, day out, and regularly you need them. Key resources could be just in-house resources. You can differentiate something like that. In Swiggy's case, it's restaurant partners and delivery partners. Finally, the cost structure, how you are going to make money and what kind of cost you are incurring to develop a value proposition to the customer. You have to spend some money to gain the profits, right? So what is that cost structure you are putting in the money to get back the value? So that's part of the cost structure. It could be divided broadly at fixed cost and variable cost. In Swiggy's case, he has divided like that, but it's not the only way of getting to the cost structure. But essentially, it is how much money you are spending and in which way to make the value proposition for the customer. That's what is part of cost structure. I put one more example of Amazon because we are very much aware of Amazon. So I'll not go through the details now because I think you got an idea. You can read this PowerPoint, get an idea about this. Or there's a link also if you want to, you can get some more details on it. Unless somebody wants me to go through it, put in the chat, then we can review this also. So before I go further, I want to stop here and take some questions because there's a lot of things to digest here in terms of business plan canvas also. So let's understand some questions before I go further. Let me put the questions here. I'm not going through these questions because you can read it. We already covered it in details, what each means. Unless anybody wants to go in detail further. Questions, please, or questions, comments. Or did anybody understand what this business plan canvas at all? Or was it too fast? Is anybody there online? Okay, good. Yes, thank you. So everybody's there. So just a pattern to let us know. I didn't get this. Can you repeat what do you mean by just a pattern to let us know? It's a pattern, right? If I understand your point correctly, it's a pattern, a very common language for everybody to talk the same language. It's a pattern. Is the business model can be supposed to consist of only 9 segments? It's a standard practice these days. If you think adding something, but the first point is it captures pretty much what you need for your business, right? I don't think anything may be missing. There could be some outliers again, but most of it's covered. And still you think something might be added, there's always, it's your business, you can do, you can add more to it if that helps your business. The requirements to set up a business, yes, correct. That is right. Any other questions? No. Okay. One additional thing I wanted to cover in business model canvas. When we talk about customer segments, right, there are very lot of classifications actually. These again all theoretical, but if you understand this, you might get an idea like where you fit in. So better to get an idea about what are different segments of this customers. So you get an idea and you pick which one fits you. For example, like customer segments is mass market, niche. Niche is like very selected customers who are willing to pay even higher value to your product. Mass market is like you build for large number of customer base. Segmented markets are again you develop product depending upon the requirements of a specific group of customers. Diversified, different, like Tata does it, right? In different fields they are. So do you want to be in that kind of a market? Multi-sided markets, you offer one product, but it can be used in different ways. That's one way of looking at it. Depending again on your solution, you pick one and then you build strategy on it. The reason why we are talking about this segments, because depending upon what customer segment you are in, you can then develop your strategy based on that. What kind of marketing or product based strategies or costing or pricing or competitive strategies will work on based on that. We talked about value proposition. When customers are looking at a product, they are looking at, is it something new? Is it perform better? Can I do customization to it? Depending on the product again, not everything applicable to the same product, right? Sometimes they look at newness, sometimes they look at customization, sometimes they look at design, sometimes, most of the cases, they look at price, right? Or is there a cost reduction in something? Is it convenient to use? Is it accessible to use? So these are kind of like criteria you're trying to judge a product at, right? So when you are developing your product, you keep this in mind, like, are you providing any new product to your customer in terms of value proposition? Is it performing better than what is existing in the market? What's the brand value? What's the design? Is it any different than the existing product? These are just the initial thoughts that can put in mind for you to think about how you can be better in the product. Different types of channels. You can your own channel, or you can partner with somebody else. Like own channel, you put your own store, or you have your own web sales. These are all direct sales. Indirect sales stores, but partner with somebody else or wholesalers. You don't directly put your store, you give it to wholesaler, then he sells it. There are multiple combinations. These are not the only options. They're just placeholders only. Day in, day out, there are so many models are developing, different channels are coming out. Depending on your requirement, you pick that and develop it further. But the most important thing is become aware of the options that are available. Do your research and understand what models might suit you. Customer relationship, how are you helping him if he is facing a problem? Is it personal assistance you are giving, or is it like self-service? There are companies who give options like self-service. You go online, check yourself what is the solution for it, or you provide a automated chat or FAQs if a customer faces an issue. So there are some of the options like where you build your having customer relationship, continue further into it, right? Yesterday somebody was talking about keep, grow strategies is it could be one of these. Different revenue generating streams. It could be subscription based. You're selling a product directly. You get monthly subscription, right? Like you take any app, they make you pay every month. Subscription based. Is a model fits your requirement or not? Those kind of stuff. Or you directly sell the product, a physical product, and you're done with it. And later there's some service requirements are there. They come back and take it. They generate some money for you. Is that kind of a business model you're developing? You're renting your product to somebody or leasing it out. Those could be some revenue generating streams. So you figure out which will work for you and then proceed from there. In terms of key resources that are required to develop a solution and provide the value proposition to customer, it could be in terms of physical form or intellectual, human, or financial, right? So, like physical, if an employee is working for you, he's working and developing a solution as a physical resource, and he's putting his intellectual brain also. That could be one. That's human actually. Physical is a computer being used to make a solution. That's part of the physical solution. Depending on your product, what you're developing, either one of them or all of them could be applicable. You need to work on the strategy, how you want to work on this. Same thing for rest of the activities. Key activities is a problem. Are you problem solving in, or you're making a network, or you're making a production? What activity you're doing? That's part of this key activity plan. Key partnerships and key cost structures, as I explained earlier. How you are making connections with your partners and how they are working with them. Fixed cost, variable cost, cost driven, again, depending upon your product, which one suits you. But important part is be aware of these things that can make a difference to your strategies. Any questions? Okay. I think that's pretty much I had for today. I think we are ending pretty early. I thought like we'll have discussion on the problem research, but I think you have to work on that. We'll take that up tomorrow. We'll get on the technical side from tomorrow. I think we are pretty much done on the business side. Unless somebody has any other questions, we'll take it up. But I'll move on to technical from tomorrow.
Sir, what about the assignment, sir?
Assignment, as I said, like problem research, please work on that. You find out a problem you think needs a solution. As I was explaining yesterday, please note down or write down your research of understanding of the problem. That's one. And then business model for one of the cases you think, take an example of, like I took a case of Swiggy, right? You take some other company and try to build a canvas for that.
About the problem, what is the context, sir? Problem solving.
Okay, let me put my stuff. So yesterday we were talking about the different avenues, right? So first thing, identifying a problem you think based on either one of these criteria. Identify a problem. Okay, that's first thing. And then write down what kind of business that could be, what kind of customer type or market type that could be, and anything else you think should be part of the problem. Like you feel there is a problem in this area. Let's take an example like passion, right? Let's suppose you like bikes. You think there is a problem that needs to be solved. Just make a note of that. Like I'm taking a problem from the passion avenue, and this is a specific problem I think needs to be solved. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Just identifying it. We are not doing complete research on. Just identify. Think about something, a problem that you think needs to be solved in any of these specific areas of avenues, or anything out of this also.
In which format should you write it down, sir?
Just a Word document is fine, man. There's no particular format to that.
Okay, sir.
Just write it in a line, couple of lines is okay fine. See, it's about you thinking about it.
ಇನ್ನೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರೋದಾಗಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅವನು
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ man, who's this?
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗು.
Okay, anybody else has any questions? Are these classes recorded? I believe so. It's going live now on YouTube and it's get recorded, right? It should.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm repeating this again instead of seeing the recording, which most of the cases may not happen.
Sir, can you share the PPT of this recording, this class, sir?
Yeah, it's being done. Yesterday also sent the presentation.
To the mail or?
I think Raghu sir is doing that.
After 2 days, I'll share my.
Okay, sir.
This is healthy when during a launch event, we launch a product and then we also say that we are going to use upgrades to keep the cost on the component performance and this is healthy thing. Let me understand this question. You are doing a launch. See, the important part, are you meeting the key requirements of the customer or not? If you are doing that and your product is meeting those requirements, I don't think the customer is worried about what updates you're going to do. It's going to happen anyway, right? Upgrades and product roadmaps are always there and they understand that. But if you are meeting his primary requirements, then you need not have to worry about, he's not worried about what down the line is coming. And specifying upfront has no meaning if you are already meeting his primary requirement. He's not worried about it anyway, right? So if the important part is, are you meeting his primary requirements or not? If you are doing that, I don't think you need to specify. They already understand that we upgrades, and it's part of your strategy. Anyway, you have to do upgrades. And think about this as a customer. If you are reducing the price down the line and you come back with that, you'll be more than happy to become your customer for a long time, right? Instead of sending it. See, if it's you have to be very careful when you're specifying this stuff. Let's suppose you said that you will reduce the price, you come back and you could not do it, then what? You're in a bigger problem, right? Why do you want to create your own problem? What will be the key factor in letting customers believe in new products? See, if you have made your research really well, problem research, and you made a connections with them, you're in his good books anyway. So, and you're solving his problem because you understood his problem and giving a solution to him. That makes a big difference for him, right? He has already a belief in you that you are doing something about his problem and you came up with the solution. He'll be happy to take it, right? I don't see, unless you are going higher price than what the competition is doing. So building this upfront relationships with your customer by doing the research, that too by directly entrepreneurs, makes a big difference, and that solves these kind of questions. As some has notion of believing in brands. Yes, that's what I said. Like you build up relationships upfront. That's what they said. Like you first build your relationships upfront before you build a product. See, you have taken his feedback. You have built a product exactly matching his requirement. 90% of the work is done, right? Brands and all, of course, will always be there. But now you're solving his problem at a lower price, at a better quality or something else, then you have a better chance, I would say. Of course, the brand notions are always there. But if you're solving his problem with his requirements, you have a better chance. It does happen. It happens a lot. Any other points? So from tomorrow onwards, I just give a heads up to you. How can we ensure about quality of product in their language? As I said, in your research itself, you understand what he's expecting in terms of quality in their product.
Sir, usually while building a product, how much should we keep the profit margin relative to the manufacturing cost, sir? Like how much percentage relative to the manufacturing cost?
There are numbers anywhere from 50% to all the way to zero. Some cases. Some products who has a very good work done, I think the technology can get that kind of value. Some are even claiming a margin of 50%. But some companies who are very new and they're not too good, or should not say too good, but they're not too confident about the product yet. They're keeping numbers really low also. So it's a case by case basis. It depends on how good you have developed your technology and how good you are with your customer requirements. See, all these questions what you're talking about, it's a complete thing, right? When you are done your problem research really well, you are already connected with your customer. You can expect better returns on your profit margins. And again, you have to deliver your product really well too, of course. But if you are directly taking the product to him, he has no clue what you have done. You didn't understand what his requirement is. Then how can you expect higher profit margins? It's as simple as that. How to get funded to do research on a very new technology. I will be covering this in ecosystem research itself, depending upon who's. There could be there are organizations who are working different research technologies. First, you need to identify who are those and are they funding or supporting in terms of either financially or mentoring. If they're doing that, both are good for you, right? Either one of them is also good for you. At least they will give connections for you to further find out who can fund your research. But most of these days, at least the virtual venture capitalists, they are looking at traction before they even funding any project, at least in India, most cases. For research projects, you have to go any government organizations or incubators funded by Atal Innovation Missions and try to understand the technology, what you're thinking about, are supported by those incubators and accelerators or government agencies. They could provide some support there. When we talk about technical stuff, having a minimum viable product or a prototype will help you a lot when you're going for funding. And I will be sharing that information, how to build your MVP, minimum viable product or prototype, the least cost options, so that you can have a working model, not the final product, but at least a working model which demonstrates your technology, right? So you are not spending too much money. You are utilizing the resources which are mostly freely available. I would say mostly, because some at least you have to pay, or utilize your college resources to develop your solutions, make a prototype, then take it to for funding. Then you have at least better chance of getting funded. Otherwise, based on just one statement saying that I have a great technologies or great idea, think about from funding perspective. If you are in their shoes, I will come to you asking for money. Will you give money to me just like that? No, right? You want to see some data. Okay, one more chat. Yes, okay. He agrees. That's good. So far we started here. Trades are, I mean, you guys are attending the session itself shows like you have interest in entrepreneurship and innovations. So we are not talking about those trades. Trades are nothing but mindsets, cutthroat, let's do it kind of passion. So we'll not go there. Already know that. On the technical side, tomorrow onwards we'll take up the product development. What technology readiness levels? TRL is nothing but technology readiness levels. How you come up with concepts? What is the process actually about a product development? What are the avenues or options available to build your prototypes virtually and in real world at a low cost options, which work in the real world? What actually goes into developing a product when you're talking about any technical product? What goes into it? What generally people miss, and quite a lot of people miss it. You should not do that same mistake. So I'll try to cover those. That will cover the whole thing. I think take a couple of days. We'll do some hands-on also, if possible. Then we'll come on to the IPR. What are the different types of IPRs? What is the advantage of having an IPR? Advantage and disadvantage sometimes. Mostly advantages. What are those? What are different types of IPRs that you can file? Does it really help or not? Does it help in funding? Yes, it's helping. Most cases it does. It depends again on your technology. Some cases it doesn't. Just filing a patent doesn't mean you will get funding. Don't be in that kind of a notion. That's unacceptable. It should be a technology which can make money for the investor. As simple as that. And if you have filed a patent along with it, that's golden. Then you have a better chance of getting funding. You filed a patent, you expect funding. I don't think that works. Okay. Yep, rest we'll talk as we move forward. Yeah. Any other questions, sir? Anybody? So 2 assignments for today. One is about the problem research. Find out what problem you want to solve in different areas of revenues. Take any one of them and find a problem that you want to get solved. Second, build a business model canvas. Take any example out there in the world. Please don't copy it. Put your thoughts into it. By doing that, you will get some ideas like how it is built. I can send you a template also. This is an Excel file. It has all those elements already built in. You just need to fill in. I'll email this to you. I'll send it to Raghu sir and he will send it to you guys. If you don't get this, you can get this online also. Comments are already available. But please fill yourself, put some thought process, try to understand each of these elements, take one case and fill it. I'll be discussing first thing in the class, one of your examples, one or more, and try to understand how you have built it and try to help you actually learn better. Okay. Can it be done? Any yeses, nos? Okay, good. One answer is yes. So when you say yes, you will do the work, right? I expect that. Okay. Thank you. Good. That's really better. Sure. If no other doubts or comments, we'll end the session for today. Thank you very much for your time and patience. I hope you had a good learning, and we'll continue this tomorrow. Thank you. Raghu sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The session was so informative. I hope it was really helpful to all, sir. So thank you so much, sir. Meet you in next session. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thanks.